Global media cultures. Media plays a vital role in driving globalization and molding how people communicate, consume culture, and interact with the world. The advent of media platforms such as digital platforms, TV, the music industry, and films generates a medium through which cultures can interact and influence one another. This chapter examines how media facilitates global integration and explores the relationship between local and global cultural production. Media as a driver of global integration. The relationship between media and globalization is deeply interconnected. Jack Luhl in 2012 argues that media have historically shaped globalization by allowing societies to communicate across vast distances. From the invention of the printing press to the rise of the internet, different forms of media have transformed the way people engage with the world. With the rise of digital technology, media have become even more integral to economic, political, and cultural globalization. Satellite television, social media, and streaming platforms allow real-time communication and cultural exchange across the world. Companies like Netflix, YouTube, and TikTok have created a global entertainment landscape where local content can reach international audiences, breaking down cultural and geographic barriers. One of the most significant ways media drive global integration is through mass communication technologies. Print and broadcast media, like newspapers, radio, and television, were key in spreading information and shaping public opinion. Digital media, like social media platforms, streaming services, and online news, have transformed communication by allowing real-time engagement across continents. Television news outlets with a global reach, such as CNN, BBC, and Al Jazeera, impact both domestic and foreign relations. Brands are encouraged to reach consumers internationally and promote standardized lifestyles via digital advertising platforms, creating a global consumer culture. In addition, global media can generate conflicts because of the increasing dominance of Western media industries, which has raised concerns about cultural imperialism, where the values and aesthetics of dominant cultures overshadow local traditions. In response, numerous nations have enacted media rules to safeguard their cultural industries. The number of international films allowed to play in Chinese theaters yearly is severely limited due to the country's strict media regulations. The French government has instituted a rule that states radio stations must play music in French at least 40% of the time to prevent local musicians from having their music swamped by songs in English. Thus, while media foster global connections, they also create cultural challenges that require ongoing negotiation between global and local forces. While media contribute to globalization, they also provide a platform for local cultures to assert their identity. The interaction between global and local media has resulted in three primary outcomes: cultural convergence, cultural hybridization, and cultural resistance. Cultural convergence happens when global media create a more homogenized world culture. This is seen in the worldwide popularity of American pop culture, fast food, and fashion. Hollywood films, for example, dominate the international box office, and English has become the dominant language in digital spaces. Critics argue that this form of globalization erodes cultural diversity by making local traditions less visible. Cultural hybridization. As opposed to cultural convergence, when local and global influences are mixed to develop new cultural forms, this process is called hybridization. This is especially true with mainstream music. Genres like reggae, hip-hop, and K-pop incorporate elements from various parts of the world, as pointed out by Yara El-Ghadban in 2018, who says that exchanges between cultures have always impacted music. K-pop incorporates Western and Korean elements into its music and lyrics. One example of how local industries modify international trends to reflect local identities, according to El-Ghadban in 2018. Cultural resistance. Some nations seek ways to distance themselves from global cultural influences to maintain their cultural identity. Many times, governments enact policies that shield domestic sectors from those of foreign competitors. For instance, to limit the oversaturation of English language songs on the radio, France has passed legislation mandating a certain percentage of local music. Similarly, China limits the number of foreign films allowed in its theaters each year. Elgadban emphasizes that media are not just tools for passive consumption, but sites of negotiation where different groups contest meaning, power, and identity. Musicians, filmmakers, and artists often use media to challenge dominant narratives and promote alternative perspectives. For example, Indigenous musicians in Canada and Australia use digital platforms to share their traditional music globally, while advocating for their rights and cultural recognition.